11th sloka. Then in 13th sloka, Krishna again says about the, he's going to say about Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yumanam chara tada dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. Krishna is going to speak about the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the basics of Bhagavad Gita, which is we are not this body, we are spirit, soul, right? Once we understand this fact, then life is very easy. I mean, then we won't lament for silly things in life, and also we get a meaning in life. But it's a very difficult thing to really make us understand. Right? It's very difficult to understand the fact that we are to apply it in life. Now, Bhagavad Gita is different levels is there. One, we can just keep reading and going. Second is applying it in life. Now, that's because it's a practical manual. Bhagavad Gita is not just any book. It is a life manual. It's a manual we are supposed to apply it in our life. So when somebody talks bad about us, when something bad happens to this body, we lament. Now that's natural. That affection is there, and that's natural. But then you should not get depressed into it. Now when someone of your near and dear ones leave you, we should not become depressed about it. So that's what Krishna is saying by this meaning of the sloka, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Natva evam jatunasham natam neme janatipaha nachaivam napa vishyama sarve vayam atamparam. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these things, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So, what are the two things Krishna refute in this sloka? Krishna is denying two things. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you. What is Krishna in the purport? Srila Prabhupada mentions the two things Krishna denies. What are they? Yes, you all should read and come. Towards the end of the purport, it is mentioned. Yes, Kishore Kumar.
Mataji, that is one is that Lord.
Somebody has a Bluetooth device or something. Yes, Kishore.
We are not one. We are separate. God is separate. Supreme Soul is separate.
Very good. So who are the ones who tell that we are one with the Lord? You're right. You're right. So
Advaitavadi.
Mayavadis are also called Advaitavadis. Very good. So Mayavadis say we are one with Lord. I am God, you are God, all are God. But then Krishna says here, I and you. So he's separating we from Krishna. That means we are not one, we are two. That's why the philosophy. Advaita philosophy or speech by Shankaracharya came and said we are one. But then in Advaita philosophy it says we are not one, we are two. That is Advaita philosophy. So yes, Mayavadism is broken here, or Advaita philosophy is broken. What else? What else? Okay, that's Prakash Parekh Prabhu. You were raising your hand. What is the second thing Krishna refute in the sloka? Yes, Mayavadism, very good. What is the other one? You. I did not exist. Just see this word. I did not exist. Never there was a time when I did not exist. Yes, Dinesh Prabhu.
Mataji is he is eternal. He is pointing towards.
Very good. Krishna is eternal. Yeah. So who are the ones who think God doesn't exist?
The Mayavadis impersonalists feel that
atheists, the non-believers or non-devotees, the atheist class of men. But here Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not. Krishna himself is declaring that I was always there. Krishna was always there, and Krishna. So in the two things which Krishna is refuting in this sloka is Mayavadism. That Mayavadis say we are one with the Lord, but Krishna says, Arjuna, you were there, I was also there. That means we are not one, we are two. Okay, so that Krishna himself refute Mayavadism. Second thing, he refute atheism. Atheists, what do they say? God doesn't exist. God is not there. No, but Krishna says, I exist. Krishna himself says he's existing. So definitely Krishna exists. And the atheist, whatever their fake philosophy is, it's not going to stay for long. And Krishna is refuting atheism by saying that, sloka. The Supreme Personality Godhead is a supreme individual person, and Arjuna is Krishna's eternal associate. Who was Arjuna in Goloka Vrindavan? Put in the chat. Who was Arjuna? His eternal associate in Goloka. And all the kings assembled are all persons. So they also exist in the individuals in the past. Krishna also exists, right? And individuals existed in the past. It will continue in the future. There is no cause for lamentation. Very good. Vishaka Saki, right? Yeah, so Arjuna was Vishaka Saki in Goloka. So Mayavadi's theory is what? After liberation, you become one with the Lord. What mukti is that called? What is that mukti? You become one with the Lord, merging into the Brahman.
Mataji.
Sayuja.
Yes, Sayuja Mukti, right? The Mayavadis, they like Sayuja Mukti. And Prabhupada compares Sayuja Mukti to be bubbles in the ocean. You've seen when the waves come, a lot of bubbles will be formed. And what do the bubbles do? They go for some time and then they burst and they merge into the ocean. Like whatever the air or whatever water droplets are there in the bubble, it merges into the ocean. And after some time, again the waves come, again the bubbles are recreated. Similarly, the Mayavadis, they become merged into the Brahmajyoti, but after some time they again take rebirth, right? So that is one thing. And what is the devotees compared to? A fish in the water. The fish doesn't lose its individuality. The fish is its individuality. The ocean is also. Fish doesn't become one with the ocean, but instead bigger fishes like great devotees, they dive into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean or the Sindhu, a nectar of devotional service like an ocean, and then deep inside they get nectar, the pearls and jewels and everything inside. So we should try to become a fish inside the ocean, not a bubble. So the Mayavadis, they want to just merge, and then they want to merge into the impersonal Brahman and lose its individual existence, which is not supported by Lord Krishna. Krishna says, Arjuna, you exist, I exist. That means individuality is there. Now, so Mayavadism is refuted. Nor the theory that we only think of individualities in conditioned state supports here. Krishna clearly says here, in the future also, the individuality of the Lord and the others remains. So even after we go to the Goloka Dham, we are eternal servants of the Lord. The individuality always exists. So what is the analogy Prabhupada gives? Bee licking the bottle of honey. You should all come reading. You should come reading. You're not reading, all of you. Yes, Supriya Mataji.
Mataji, so here the purport says that only the devotees can understand what exactly the taste of devotional services, because the other Mayavadis, they think that only by licking the bottle, they will
Yes.
not be able to understand what exactly is the essence and the nectar of devotion.
Very good. So it is compared to a non-devotee. A non-devotee is like a bee licking the bottle of the honey. What taste does the bee get? The bee can't taste the real nectar, right? Non-devotees cannot understand Bhagavad Gita or Krishna, correct? So from outside, if you lick the honey bottle, you don't get the real taste. You need to open the bottle and dive inside the honey to get the real taste of honey. So only a devotee who dive into the devotional service of the Lord can understand or get or feel the nectar of devotion. And others, Prabhupada mentions, they are like bee licking the bottle of the honey. They really can't understand. So if we have to dive inside the ocean of bhakti, somebody should open the bottle of honey. And who is the bottle opener for us? Who opens the bottle?
Spiritual master.
Guru.
Yeah, spiritual master, gurus, right? Might be Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. It's a guru who is actually making us go inside the nectar of devotional service, right? So, yes, and now Krishna starts the real philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. This is the basics of Bhagavad Gita. This, if you understand the concept of soul in us, then Bhagavad Gita is very easy to understand. This sloka is to be memorized. Okay, so first chapter, first sloka you need to be memorized. 2.7 has to be memorized. 2.13 has to be memorized. Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tada dehatara praptir dhiras tatra namo kyadi. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes to another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So we know that we were not having this body when we were born. We had a smaller body. And then as we grow, nowadays it's very easy to know, because my friends and all have this collage. The kids it's a fashion now. As the kids grow, they have like 1, 2, 3. The kid is growing the month. The first year is very special because it's different stages. They start crawling and so all these things started. So they make a collage and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 till 12. And they just make it. And every year we all have these photographs. So it's very easy to understand. Yes, I didn't have this particular body when I was young, but I could remember many things when I was young. So that means I was the same. I, in the sense, the soul, right? Imagine at KG in a kindergartens, we get what? A tricycle, a very toy cycle. And then as I grow old and in school, high school, I get a bicycle. Then into college, might be a scooty. Then I start working, might be a car. So I, as a driver who's driving these vehicles, are the same. That means the soul is same. External part, the vehicle is changing. The external body might be changing, growing. And when my car is broken down, then what I'll do? I'll buy a new car. So from the driver's seat of this car, I shift to the driver's seat of the other car. So does that mean I have to cry? No. Similarly, when this body is no more in use, I take another body. The soul takes another body. So does anyone know the example of air carrying aroma? Does the air have smell? No. But the air do carry smell. Right? It is not given in this purport. I'm asking out of box. So, but when the air comes through, yes, Prabhu.
Whenever it is mixing with the item, it is coming through, it takes the aroma of that item.
Yes. So does that mean air has a smell?
No, air doesn't have it. Air doesn't have it.
So imagine you're making nice pakora in your kitchen or something, and nice smell comes from the kitchen because the air takes that smell. And if it goes to the garden, a lot of jasmine flowers, it takes that smell. But when it's going to a garbage area, then all bad smell comes. Does that mean the air is bad or good, or does the air become conditioned, or does the air actually takes the smell? No, it takes the smell for some time and leaves it. Then it goes to another place, takes that smell and leaves it. Similarly, the soul going through 84 lakh species of life takes one body, leaves it, takes another body, leaves it. So it's not attached to anything. The soul is not really attached, but the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, and false ego is the one which makes us attached to this particular body, desires and everything. So we should understand the process of transmigration. How is our next body? How do we get our next body? Based on what? What are
the bhava when we die? At the time
yes,
of death.
at the time of death. Yam yam bhavi smarantu bhavam vijat ande kalaivaram. So whatever thought we have at the end of life, yes, that. What is the second one?
Past karma.
Previous karma, Mataji.
Previous karma. Previous karma. Third,
our desires.
Desires, very good. Unfulfilled desires. We have a lot of desire. Like you're about to die and you want to see your grandchild getting married. You had that sincere desire, unfulfilled, and it's not fulfilled. You'll take rebirth again. Yes, unfulfilled desires. And what is the other thing? Activities or karma, yes.
Whether we want enjoyment or suffering.
Yeah, based on your enjoyment or whatever we want the desire. Okay. Then
Mind function.
mind, yes, whatever the mind is. What about the modes of material nature?
Yeah, as per our requirement of exploiting the three modes of material nature.
Yeah, so that means karanam guna sangha asya. Whichever mode of material nature you are associated with. Like if you are associated with sattvagun, definitely you get a human form of life and you even get liberation. If you are shuddha sattvagun. If you are in tamogun, then what happens? We go to animal form of life or hellish planet. So karanam guna sangha asya. Whichever mode of material nature we are associated with, that also decides our next body. So the soul transmigrates to that body. Just it's called transmigration. Right? And so Krishna, Arjuna don't have to lament for Bhishma and Drona. Why? How do you apply this?
Just the souls.
Yes, Mataji?
They are just the souls, and they never die. Soul never die.
The soul never dies.
They are
So what
just
are the
going
two
to change
fates?
the body.
Yeah, what are the two fates Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya is going to get? What do they get after death? I mean, where does the soul go of Bhishma and Dronacharya?
To the higher planets.
Yes, higher planets,
Higher
because
planets.
they are pious. Where else they can go?
Swarupyam.
Yeah, they can also get liberation, right? They are Bhishma is a pure devotee of the Lord. Bhishma, you should read Bhishma Stuti in Bhagavatam, where Bhishma sees the Parthasarathi Rupa of Krishna and he got Sarupya Mukti. It is said. So he can also go to heavenly planets because he's pious. Yes, good. So these are the two things. So here Arjuna don't have to lament. Bhishma and Drona being noble souls, surely they're going to have a spiritual body in their next life, or at least in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So in either case, Arjuna don't have to lament. Two things can happen to Bhishma and Drona. Because they are pious, they can go to heavenly planets. Second, they can even get moksha or the spiritual body. So Arjuna, why are you lamenting? That's what Krishna asks. So 2.13, I hope it's clear. And we already discussed about heart transplantation, right, in this class. Did we discuss about yes?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, you know about what happens after that.
Yeah,
Like,
forehead.
yeah, again the transplantation, what happens. But later on we'll see have some more discussion. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadurgada agapapaino anityam stamsti devashasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and disappearance and due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception of son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So it is said, the happiness in this material world is called what happiness? Is there real happiness here?
Illusory happiness, Mataji. It is illusory. Illusory.
What
Is
is
it
it
like
called?
perverted? Is it like perverted?
Perverted reflection. Good. So in the 15th chapter, Krishna mentions Mudamula Madashagam Ashwatha Prahuravgiyam. Yes, so it's like an inverted banyan tree. So nothing is real here. It's everything is temporary. The so-called happiness is cessation of distress. If you're suffering and the suffering stops, that's called happiness. And it is flickering happiness. Does anyone know what is flickering happiness means? Flickering.
It comes and goes.
Just like
a season, Mataji.
Yeah, it just keeps changing, or it's just like chapala sukha. Chapala sukha means flickering happiness. It's like there is happiness and happiness, sadness. So Namanishta Prabhu was saying anything brings you happy in this world will definitely bring you distress also. Anything. Let it be relationships, let it be job, let it be any of your personal gadgets and your assets or whatever it is, whatever in this material world always brings distress to you. No, definitely it brings. That's the nature of this material world. It's dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Means what? What does it mean by dukkhalayam ashashvatam?
house of sorrow.
Place of sadness.
There is a continuous miseries all around.
Yes, that is
Permanent.
continuous miseries and
Permanent it is.
It's temporary.
Permanent it is.
Ashwashwatam temporary. Temporary.
very good. Temporary. Ashashwata means temporary. So it is the material world is temporary and distress is guaranteed. Yes, distress is guaranteed, Supriya. Definitely. You go to Vastralaya, you get cloth. You go to Pustakalaya, you get books. So you go to Dukkhalaya, you get Dukkha. So how can we become happy in this material world? It's impossible. It's impossible. We are looking for like the camels. Have you seen camels eating thorns? Now, when the camel eats thorns, what happens? Does anyone know? When the camel eats thorns, Shreya Mataji, you know?
Camel chews the thrones and enjoys the blood, enjoys the taste of its own blood.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Prakash Parekh Prabhu, I think some echo is coming in from your side. Might be you using a two device or might be a Bluetooth device, something. Your voice is okay. So a camel, what does it do? It takes the thorns and eats. So when it eats the thorns, the tongue cuts and so much blood comes out. And the camel thinks it's very yummy, it's very tasty, but it's tasting its own blood and he doesn't know it, right? So it's like what we are doing. Yeah, he's enjoying his own taste. Blood. So that good thing? No. And Prabhu was mentioning once Indra got cursed to become a hog. Hog means pig. And then pigs, what did they eat? They eat stools and dirt and everything. So Indra is the king in the heaven, and because of some curse, he became a pig, and he had his wife and children, and he was eating stools and loitering around in a slummy area. And finally, Brahma went and said, Indra, what are you doing? Come back. Your position is vacant. Come back. Indra's like, no, I'm not coming. I'm happy here. So that's how the material world is. The material world is always bringing us distress based on the karma. But when you become devotees of Krishna, then the real happiness comes. All of you agree with me, right? Once you come to Krishna consciousness, before that, whatever richness, whatever position, fame, whatever you had, you still didn't get that real happiness. Why? That's the character of the soul. You are meant for that. You are spiritual beings with human experience. You're not human beings with spiritual experience. No, we are spirit beings, spiritual. Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nitya Das. When you associate with Krishna, then the real happiness comes. Otherwise, we need to tolerate it. So sometimes in the early morning, especially nowadays, it's very cold. But then we have to get up early and then take a bath in Brahma Muhurta and chant our rounds. It's little austere to do it. And also a housewife or women has to cook during summer seasons for the family. So similarly, fighting is the religious principle of a Kshatriya, and Arjuna should do that, right? He should not deviate from his prescribed duty. So what are the two names Arjuna is called as? Kaunteya and Bharata. Why?
Kaunteya means because he's son of Mother Kunti and also his nephew. And Bharata because his father carried a great tradition.
Yes. So Kaunteya because his mother, yes, Kunti Maharani is, and then it's Kaunteya. Then from his father's side it is Bharata. Okay, so that means Krishna is related both the ways to Arjuna. So Arjuna is called so. Avinashti tu tadvidhi yena sarvam itam tadam vinasham avyayas yasa nakaschit kartum arhati. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Right? The soul is imperishable. So when we say that our dear and near ones left, we say that they left the soul left the body. You know, the soul is getting left the body. That's how we say. That means the soul left, but the body is just getting destroyed. So the soul never gets destroyed. You know, there are different properties of the soul. It cannot be burned. It cannot be put in fire. It destroyed. What is the size of the soul?
1 by 10,000.
10,000 parts of the tip of the hair.
One tip of the
And Deval Mataji was saying about the size of Paramatma, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
What was that?
It was size of a thumb, 8 inches.
Yeah, it is the distance between thumb and the ring finger. Huh?
No, the size of the thumb, 8 inches. That's what.
And you gave the reference, right? 1 point.
Yeah, one second.
Go back and see.
Yeah,
I read it. I read it. What you sent me, but that is given. That's distance between your ring finger and the thumb. That's 8 inch. You're right, 8 inch. Can you just go back and
yes, I'm just going.
Just let me know. I read it like that. The distance between your ring finger and the thumb. That's like 8 inch. Yes, and that's the size of the thumb. She was right. And I think I told something else because I was not clear about the idea. So yes, Krishna can take any shape, but then specifically Prabhupada mentions in the purport, I think 1.2 something, the first canto, second chapter, something. Mataji, you can put in the chat the reference. So yes, so that is Paramatma in our heart. So what is spread all over our body is consciousness. Okay, the symptom of the soul's present is the consciousness. So you can't see the soul. It's 1 by 10,000, the tip of the hair. How do you say the soul is there? Because of consciousness, because you're conscious. You can't see the soul. What is the analogy Prabhupada gives? The sun and the clouds. Does anyone remember sun and the clouds?
The sun will always be there in the sky, but when the clouds are in between, we can't see the sun.
So that doesn't mean sun is not there, right?
Yeah,
sun is there. And how do you know the sun is there?
Through its light.
Through the light. Very good. Through the light. Just imagine it's a cloudy day and it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock morning, but then it's cloudy. You can't see the sun, but you know the sun is there. Why? Because the sunlight is there. Similarly, you can't see the soul, but the consciousness is there. So definitely the soul is there. So Mataji have posted. Oh, wait, posted for me. Okay. Yeah, ring finger. That's what I saw. So that's a nice thing to read. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. And it's from second canto of Bhagavatam, second chapter, 8th sloka. There's a nice intelligent people in our class. Very nice. So this is called Swadhyay. Swadhyay means you read scriptures, and this is how Prabhupada quotes. You should always give reference. So you can go to the second canto. I've put in the chat. Second canto Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, 8th sloka. See, the measurement of the localized personality of God, it is Paramatma, is estimated to be expand from the ring finger to the end of your thumb, more or less 8 inch. So if you hold like this, okay. So that is from the ring finger, where you put your ring. So from ring finger to the end of the thumb, this is like almost 8 inch. That's the measurement given of the Paramatma. So Prabhupada gives reference of everything, so we can be sure about that. So consciousness is of different levels. Does anyone know? The different levels of consciousness. Yes, what are they? Deval Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. One is like the child in the womb.
Yes,
one is like the dust covered in the mirror, and one is as a smoke covered by the fire.
Yeah, that is last getting covered. Yes, the conscious level also get covered like that. Yes, Ishwar Prabhu.
Is it the kosas, Mataji? Annamaya, kosa, pranamaya, gyanamaya, like that?
Yeah, that's what. Sridevi Mataji, you want to say something?
No, same Mataji, that covered consciousness and budding consciousness, blossoming.
Yes, that is there, but something called Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya,
Those are
Vijnanamaya,
5 levels.
Anandamaya.
Those are 5 levels, Mataji.
Yeah, the 5 levels. What is Annamaya? Just Kishore Prabhu.
Food that we eat, Mataji.
Yeah, babies eating. That
like
is,
a baby, in the sense.
like a baby.
Yeah, so Annamaya Kosha means you always think about eating, nothing else. I mean, you don't know your spirit soul, you just know your body, the bodily consciousness. You just want to eat and enjoy this life, doing sense gratification. So that's Annamaya Kosha, like the babies have. Then what is next one? Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya means?
That
Breathing,
consciousness which is
Mataji.
toward the body, Mataji.
Yeah, you start
Living.
You know that you're breathing and you're
Breathe.
living. That
Yeah.
means that, yes. And then what is Jnanamaya?
He started thinking, feeling like that.
Yeah, thinking, willing, and feeling. And then Vijnanamaya is that you know you're not this body, you're spirit soul. And next is Anandamaya. Anandamaya means the highest consciousness, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma stage. So we all have gone through there are out of 84 lakh species of life. How many human species are there? How many lakhs?
4 lakh.
4 lakhs, Mataji. 4 lakhs.
4 lakhs.
Based on consciousness. Chatur Lakshani Manava, 4 lakhs is human beings. That's the lowest actually. So rest 80,000 species are all animals, birds, and trees and everything. Now, based on your consciousness, so we are so fortunate that we have gone through so many janmas. Krishna knows how many, but we have gone through Annamaya Kosha, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya. We have reached up to the stage of Anandamaya consciousness now, which is the highest consciousness. So God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. If you're not conscious of yourself, if you don't know your spirit soul, you can't be conscious of Krishna. Both goes hand in hand, right? If you're not conscious of the soul, how can you be conscious of the super soul? So both should be there, right? That's called self-realization. Self-realization goes. Yeah, there are different levels of consciousness, sheets of consciousness. So as a baby develops, the consciousness develops. But some of them, from the childhood to the deathbed, they have these just material consciousness. I mean, that they just know that they are this body and they don't think about next life. But then we are so fortunate, Ajnana Sumriti, some punya we have done, that we have got the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and then we came to Krishna consciousness level, which is the highest consciousness. So don't go back, always try to go up. So the consciousness is nothing but, and also I'll give the difference. Imagine what is the difference between a knife in a surgeon's hand and the same knife in a thief's hand? What is the difference?
What is used
Purpose for which it is used. Mataji, the purpose for which it is used.
The purpose different. Yes, Shreya Mataji, what else?
Surgeon is a professional, Mataji. If he does, it becomes a right thing. But anybody catches the knife, he may commit some sinful activities.
A thief, no? A thief.
Yes.
So yes. So a surgeon, his consciousness is to save the patient, but the thief's consciousness is to kill or hurt somebody. So that it's a difference in the consciousness level, right? The weapon is the same, the knife is the same, but the conscious level is different. Okay, so we should know that the consciousness really matters. Are you Krishna conscious, or if you're not Krishna conscious, we are Maya conscious? Only one or two things can happen. If you're not serving Krishna, definitely we are serving Maya. Okay, so we should be very careful. And this is the size of the soul mentioned. Kesha Krishada Paudasya, 1/10,000 the tip of the hair. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air. That is called prana, apana, vyana, samana, udhana. There are 5 kinds of air in our body. Okay, like for example, yeah. So Prakash Parekh Prabhu, you're a doctor here. So when somebody died in after surgery, or might be something, an accident or something, do you declare it immediately?
No, you attempt for the resuscitation for 45 minutes before you declare him dead. The pulse and the respiration both should cease for at least
so
45 minutes.
Check the pulse, you see the respiratory rate, you see the heartbeats, then you see the pupil, no, whether it's reacting, and you take an ECG. Yes, very good. So we don't declare it immediately, no, Prabhu. So sometimes you feel that they take a breath, might be somebody in a ventilator or somebody is very old, and take a breath, deep breath. I mean, and then you think it's gone. But after some time again, he might take a breath, right? It has happened. In some cases, it has happened like, yes, Prabhu, you were saying something.
If you declare it prematurely, then patient, he might just wake up or sit up after 10 minutes.
That's what. So we don't declare it immediately. So we take some time. Not like if it's like there's no pulse, there's no cardiac activities. Definitely we wait for some time. But then we tell to the relatives that the patient is very critical, very critical. So slowly, because we immediately can't go and tell them that the patient is no more. If they are expecting, fine, but then young patients, we should be very careful. And this is the problem. So there are different air levels, 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana. Different ways. Once the soul leaves the body, slowly these airs will start going out. Okay, yes, Deval Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So sometimes, like I have heard so many times that the dead body has been raised from the pyre of just about to be,
Yeah, they say it's ghostly haunted and all that. No, it's actually
it's come live,
Yeah, it comes. Yeah,
after such a long time. Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes the patient is shifted to the mortuary, and then from there, they might wake up. These are because the air levels are leaving. Yeah. So, how does the soul leaves the body? Through what does the soul leave? Just goes
through any of those 9 gates.
What are the 9 gates?
2 eyes, nose, mouth, genitals, ears.
Very good. So through the 9 gates, the soul leaves. 2 eyes, 2 nose, 1 mouth, 2 ears, genitals, and rectum. So the soul can go out of any of these gates. Now, how do you know through which the soul have gone? How do you know?
If the body urinates, then that is the soul has passed on the.
Okay.
That is what I heard in one of the lectures.
Yeah. What about the other parts? Sudha Mataji?
If the person keeps his eyes open, means Mataji, that means his life is gone to the eyes.
But nose and ears are always open. Sure, Prabhu?
That blood stains comes. Whichever part goes
blood stains, Mataji.
Yeah, some blood stains come. So actually, when they give bathe to the they bath the body like once the soul leaves. So sometimes there'll be some clots or some blood stains which comes through the ears or eyes or somewhere in the nose. Sometimes you may not see it because it's inside clotted, so you may not really see it. Yes, Prabhu.
That only I'm telling Mataji, but blood stains.
Yeah, yes, they will, Mataji.
So Mataji, what about the yogis when they are into that samadhi?
So I'm coming to that. So for the yogis who meditate and go for samadhi, it's actually through this part of the head. It is said that for the yogis, there won't be clots anywhere, but then when they see the head part over here, they control all the air, and they could control because they are predicting. They can predict when they are going for samadhi. They are able to control the air so much, the prana so much that they can voluntarily leave the soul through this part of the head. That means they've gone for samadhi. That's happened for the yogis. Okay, but for a devotee, it doesn't matter. For example, Prabhupada's disciple Tamal Krishna Maharaj had an accident. He met with an accident, and unlike other accidents, the devotee, all the others will be like in so much different distress. But then Tamal Krishna Maharaj was so peaceful. He was smiling, and he left. during an accident. So that means he was always thinking of the Lord, and his consciousness was fixed on the Lord, right? So about Aindradas Prabhu in Vrindavan, who started the 24 hours Kirtan in Vrindavan. For 24 years, he did the Kirtan, and he had a fire accident in his room, and the room was jammed with, it was soundproof, because when he recorded the Kirtan, the sound should not be heard from inside to outside, right? So it was like soundproof, and then nobody heard the sound, so it was like jammed. And then he had the Gaur Nitai deities, and he was paying obeisances to Nitai. His hand was like this, holding Nitai's feet, and it has got for rigor mortis. It was set and stiff, and they could not separate his hands from Gaur Nitai. So because their consciousness is of a different level. The devotees are always thinking about the Lord, so it doesn't matter when they leave the body or how they leave. But yes, so what about plants? Where is the soul situated in a plant? We know the soul is situated in the heart of the living entity, but what about amoeba and microorganisms who doesn't have a heart, or a plant, trees? Where does the soul sit?
In their nucleus?
The roots of the trees? Or the trees?
Roots, no. Nucleus, no.
Branch?
Branch, no.
It is all over the body, madam. Mataji, all over the body.
All over the body, how?
Mitochondria, Mataji.
No,
RNA.
these air, 5 airs, they get concentrated with that soul. They are covering the soul, these 5 airs, wherever these 5 airs are covering their soul, that soul is available.
Yes. I think Kishore Kumar Prabhu, are you seeing my recordings, previous sessions?
Which recording, Mataji?
Like previous, any sessions you see?
No, I see afterwards, after this class, I will see that recording.
Okay. Because you are giving the right answers, which I always discuss in the class. So I'm confused. Because this answer, not everyone gave the correct answer. Not everyone got this answer right. Anyway, because it's out of topic and have taken from some reference there. Okay, so good that you are listening to the classes. So yes, there are these 5 airs get concentrated in some part of the tree or a plant. Okay, so that's where the soul actually is present. It can be the bark, it can be the leaves, it can be a flower, it can be the fruit. Wherever these 5 airs are going to get concentrated the maximum, it said that's where the soul is for that particular living entity, whether it's a tree or a plant or anything. Okay, for us, yes, it is in the heart. So now Krishna speaks about the properties of the soul. Najayate mriyate va kadashin nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuya ajo nitya shashvadoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing. Okay, the soul is Sat. Sat means eternal. Sanatan, that means no beginning, no end. Okay, Sat. And what about the body? Body is Atsat. Atsat. It has an end. Chit. The soul is Chit, full of knowledge, but the body is full of ignorance. And Ananda, it's in bliss, but our body is in distress. Okay, so this is just the opposite of the soul. We are also Sachidananda in minute spark. The body is subjected to six kind of transformation. What are the 6 kind of transformation? Prabhupada explains the purport. How does the body? You can raise a digital hand because I can't hear devotees speaking. If that is okay. Yes, Prakash Parakram.
The body has a birth, then it has growth, then it has transformation into a young man, then it reproduces, and then it goes old, and then it dies.
Declines. So this is for the body, not for the soul. Okay, these are 6 kind of transformation is for the body. Okay, so this sun and clouds we already explained that sun might be covered with the clouds. Actually, sun is not getting covered by the clouds. Prabhupada says sun cannot be covered with the clouds. It's actually our eyesight being covered by clouds. Okay, it's our vision which is getting covered by the clouds. And how is the clouds formed? By the sun only. The sun evaporates the water in the ocean and the clouds are formed. And how is the clouds go away? By the sun only. The sun rays, sunlight falls on the cloud and the cloud is disseminated. So Anu Atma and Vibhu Atma, Anu Atma is us, the soul, and the Vibhuatma is Krishna. Anoraniya Mahato Mahiya. Krishna is so Vibhu, and so Krishna is defeating Arjuna's argument of compassion by saying that Najayade Mriyade Bakadasya. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. Okay, so you don't have to worry. See, somebody is drowning, you don't have to save the cloth. That means, what is the use of saving this body, which is anyway going to be destroyed? But even this body is non-permanent. We can use this non-permanent body to get the permanent Lord. It is said, use the non-permanent to get the permanent. That means this body is non-permanent, but you use it to get the permanent Lord. So sometimes the High Court judge hangs somebody to death, right? A murderer. Is it good or bad? Somebody is hanged to death.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good. It is
It's good because he has done an adharmic act, Mataji, sinful act.
So next life, some other person will not kill him.
Yeah, so the reaction. So what happens in case of abortions?
Sinful. You're
sinful.
For 1 lakh birth or something,
you're restricting the
they will
transgression.
get aborted again.
Yes, but then what about that soul who's in the baby's womb? The sin is for the parents, but what about that soul inside the womb?
It gets another body, I think.
It gets another
body, but why is it getting killed?
Because of its past karma, maybe.
Karma, yes. And Prabhupada mentions, because that soul is sinful. It is said that, as Mataji said, if you kill somebody, you get killed by someone in the next Janma. Similarly, that baby in the womb, the soul, whoever it is, he or she, is getting killed inside the womb by the parents, like an abortion, because of its karma. Because that soul have done sin or of killing someone in the previous Janma. So he or she is getting killed in this Janma. So it's like a karmic reaction that's coming. So we should be really careful of whatever we do. So what time the soul comes when in the body of the baby?
As soon as the mother is conceived.
24 weeks, Mataji, 20 weeks. Viable, fetus becomes viable.
So, okay, so Dinesh Prabhu, so 24 weeks, that's the viability of the fetus, or 20 weeks. But how is it growing up to 20 weeks? So that means in 7 weeks, we do the scanning. 7 weeks, the first 7th weeks, the early scanning is done. Early scanning done, and the 7 weeks, you see the heartbeat of the baby. You see the heartbeat.
Mataji, the soul comes as soon as there is a conjugation.
Yeah, right. So the Krishna, so this concept is really wrong. But people think that the soul comes after 20 weeks. No, that doesn't happen, Prabhu. Like, because the day 1 of conception, that's why abortion is so sinful. People doesn't know it. People think that, oh, the soul is not there, so we can kill. No, that's completely wrong. What happens is, based on your karma, Krishna deposits your soul in the semen of your father. Okay, and once the soul is deposited in the semen of the father, then it is pushed into the womb of the mother, and there is fertilization happening between the egg and the sperm, and then the embryo is formed. From day one of conception, that's just of a small pea size, or the mitosis, meiosis happens, and it's like a zygote, embryo stage, and then it becomes a zygote, get attached to the uterus, and then it develops. But then day 1, the soul is there. Otherwise, how is it growing? How is it growing? The sign, the symbol, the growth is there. That's because the soul is there. That's why. So from day 1, the soul is there. Day 1. If you don't believe, then you can believe the Shastras. You go to 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd or 4th, Kapila Dev's advice to Mother Devahuti. I think 3rd canto, 31st chapter. Beautiful prayers by the soul inside the mother's womb. It is mentioned by Kapila Dev. No scanning, nothing. Yeah, that's what Prabhupada always says, that I can be wrong, but Shastras can never wrong. So in a medical field, we'll be amazed to see. I was going through that chapter. It's so amazingly, Kapila Dev explains how different parts of the body of the baby develops. There's no scanning system, nothing at that time. And so expertly, than an obstetrician, they have completely explained in the Bhagavatam what development happens in what month for the baby. When does the consciousness develop? When does the hands come out, legs come out? Everything is clearly mentioned. And Kapila Dev also explained the prayers which all of us have prayed in our mother's womb. So birth is also a problem. Why? Because Yes, third canto, Prabhu. Third canto, 31st chapter, prayers of the soul to the Lord. Because we are upside down and the 7th month consciousness developed. And if we are fortunate, it is said, we could remember all our previous janmas. And we pray to the Lord, oh Lord, I'm put into this another condition of birth, death, old age, disease. I'm inside my mother's womb. I'm going to take birth. And we pray to the Lord. It said, we pray to the Lord that please don't take me rebirth again. And I promise you, as soon as you let me out of this miserable condition in the mother's womb, I'm assuring you that I'll do devotion service. But the moment we are born, we're captured to Maya. And it is said, when you are upside down, inside the mother's womb, like if 100 scorpions bite you, that's the pain you're suffering inside the mother's womb. It's not easy. We forgot that, but because Maya took us and we forgot it. But then anybody who could remember that pain in the mother's womb will never take a rebirth again, it said. So it's very painful. Birth is also painful in that way. Based on your karma, we take birth again and again. So Krishna consciousness is the highest form. Get out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. So a murderer is definitely put to death in this life. Hanging, the sentence of death sentence is given to him, which is good because he don't have to suffer it in his next life. No, the reaction doesn't come in the next life. He can finish it in this life only and go. So in one way, if the reactions, so if you take money from your bank balance gets over. Similarly, when suffering comes to you, that means your sinful reactions are getting over. So you should be happy. You should be happy that devotees suffer more than non-devotees. Why? That's special mercy of Krishna. Krishna is finishing your janma. Why do you have to take rebirth again and again to suffer the reactions? Krishna is just finishing it. And instead of suffering so much, Krishna gives you so much. Now, for all the devotees, we would have experienced, I am so sinful, Krishna, but instead of suffering so much, you made it so much for me. So we should be thankful to Krishna because we are suffering because of our karma, right? But the moment we realize it and we we have the intense desire to serve Krishna and to get out of this birth, death, old age, disease cycle, then the process of liberation opens. Now Krishna speaks about the body as an outward dress. Vasam sujirnani yada vihaya namani grihnadi naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyadi navani dehi. As a person put new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. So this body is compared to a dress. These concepts are very easy to say theoretical, but I feel to really understand this and to implement it in our life, it's very difficult, very difficult. Whenever somebody gossips about us, somebody say bad things about us, we feel so bad. Why? Because we are in bodily consciousness. Do they speak about, okay, if somebody's name is, say, Surya or something, nobody knows Surya in this class. So if someone speaks something bad about that Surya, okay, I'm not Surya, no, I'm the spirit soul. So the Surya, that particular the person's name is for that body, right? But then we don't realize this. No, it'll take a lot of time when problems come in life. When you keep telling yourself, keep telling to your mind, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, I'm not this body. I doesn't belong to this material world. I belong to spiritual world. I belong to Krishna. I'm the servant of Krishna. That's my real position. You keep telling to yourself, then one day will come, you realize it. But till then, this part is very difficult to realize that we are spirit soul. That is the basics of spiritual life. But as we do devotional service, we'll come to the stage where we become detached from all material things. Even now you can feel, you might be a match is there now, or might be some movies going on, but you left all that and came for the class. Even I was like 1 year late, but still you came. So that's because you really start getting the taste. Param Drishtva Nivartante, right? You start getting a higher taste. That's why you're here. So that's a good sign. I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture today, and Prabhupada says, you don't have to ask anyone whether you're advancing in Krishna consciousness. Don't ask to ask, Mataji, Prabhuji, am I advancing? No need to ask anyone. You can check yourself. Are you getting detached from all material things? Are you getting detached from movies and parties and mall and theaters and going to beach and all that? Are you getting detached from all these material things, which is waste of time? And are you getting attached to Krishna? Yes, that's a sign you're advancing. Do you like to chant? Do you like to hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam? You like reading scriptures? You like to associate with devotees? You like eating prasad? and visiting temples and pilgrimage places, definitely you're advancing. It's a sign you're advancing, right? Prabhupada says that. Now, so the transference of this soul is happening by the grace of super soul. Super soul would fulfill the desire of the soul. You know, we have this minute independence. We can have desire. If you want to be a good devotee, a great devotee, definitely Krishna will give a chance for us to be born in a devotee family, so that from day one we do Krishna consciousness. So the super soul will fulfill the desire of the soul, and forgetfulness of our relationship with the Lord is the cause for our changing our position. So there are two birds sitting on the same tree, that is soul and super soul. Atma and Paramatma. Atma is busy eating the fruits, that is doing his karma, and Paramatma is a witness. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahari pavakana chainyam clay gyantyapo nasho shayidima rudha. These are properties of the soul. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. So here it is said the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. So Arjuna had the weapon Gandiva, right? With his Gandiva bow, how can he hurt someone? Because they are not the body, they are spirit soul. So here it said the soul cannot be cut into pieces. The last sloka for today. Achedyo ayam adhyayo ayam akledyo shoshayo evacha nitya sarvagata shantur stanur achalo ayam sanatana. This individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can never be, and can neither be burnt or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So the living entities of the soul is eternal. Okay, so did we really land in the moon planet? What is your view on? Did we go to the moon planet, Sri Devi Mataji?
No, Mataji.
No.
We don't have the body to go there.
We don't have the body to go. Very nice. Our body is made up of. Yes, Shreya Mataji, what is your view?
Hare Krishna Mataji, to go into the moon planet, we should get certain body. In our body, we have earthly elements more, therefore we land up in earth. But when we have the fire element more, we can land and we can stay in sun planet. But we are not actually going into the planet, but the outer surface, we just, these scientists and all only go to the outer.
Okay. So that's one of the reasons why she says that our body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. No, with this body, we can't go to the moon planet. Moon planet is a heavenly planet. And if you have to go to the sun planet, your body should be made up of fire. Then only you can go. Similarly, if you have to go to the moon planet, some other composition has to be done. That is one thing. Second thing, with this materialize, you won't be able to see the living entities in the moon planet. Even if you have gone to the moon planet, there is living entities, not might be, there is, because the Bhagavad Shastra says there is living entity. You have charma chakshus made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. You are not able to see them. Third thing, if you have gone to the moon planet, why did you come back? It will take 10,000 years to come back because the lifespan in moon planet is high. That's why Prabhupada wrote the book Easy Journey to Other Planets. And how can we go to the higher planets? How can we really go to the higher planets?
With our pious activities. If you have done some
pious activities,
devotional.
And worshipping. Yes,
worshipping.
So it is said, Yanti Deva Yada Deva, Pidrayandi Pidravrita, Bhudani Yadi Bhudenja Matya Jinopi Opima. Yes, Bhutejayani Bhudeva Madhyanti Yajinodima. That means we have to worship pious deeds. If you worship demigods, you go to their planet. If you worship ancestors, you go to their planet. And Krishna says, if you worship him, you go to his planet. So similarly, if you go to the sun planet, you worship the sun god. Now, some people, when the sunrise, I've seen some Matajis, they take some water in the pot and then they offer water to the sun god. So yes, definitely they can go to the sun planet if you're doing that and if you're pious. But what is the use? You come down again. Yeah, then if you worship ghosts, you go to ghostly planets, right? So okay, so we'll have a quick discussion, 5 minutes. I know I all are tired, but then just discuss and come back. How is violence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra different from modern terrorism? So in Kurukshetra battlefield, Arjuna fought, Arjuna killed everyone. Okay, all that happened. Now, how is that different from modern terrorism? Nowadays, all these different countries and fight and bioterrorism or whatnot is happening. So how is a battlefield in the Kurukshetra different from modern terrorism? You need to discuss from the purport 2.21 and 2.27. These two slokas, okay? Take the purport 2.1 and 2.7, just note it down, and then you can tell in your own words with reference to the verses and analogies, examples also from Prabhupada's purport. Okay, that's a question. So we'll have a quick breakout room, might be 5 minutes. We'll do, and we come back. Okay, so the discussion is over. So Sridevi Mataji, you posted the attendance link, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay. So let's see how this Kurukshetra war is different from modern terrorism. From room number 4. Charu Mataji, Sridevi Mataji, Sachinandan Prabhu, Sarvani Mataji. Yes. Who's going to speak?
Yes,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead, Sridevi.
Okay. What we discussed was mainly in the Kurukshetra war, Krishna was present and it was fought for Krishna. It was planned of Krishna and it was to satisfy Krishna. And it was for dharma. But in modern day, the terrorism or whatever war between two countries, it is for selfish reasons. There is no dharma or no God involved in it.
Very nice. Okay, so we'll take the second point from the second room. Okay, that's good. So the Kurukshetra war, Krishna was there, and it was done for Krishna's pleasure. But in the terrorism, it's sense gratification. Yes.
Can I add one point?
No. We'll take from the next room. That's what I told. When if you say all the points in the other room, we won't get a chance. So room number 1, Arvind Prabhu, Prakash Prabhu, Kishore Prabhu, Supriya Mataji. Just the next point. We'll all discuss different
Hare
points.
Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
The second point is the prescribed duty. If you are performing a prescribed duty, then it never creates a sinful reaction. But if you are not doing a prescribed duty, you are degraded.
Very good. So that's a prescribed duty of a Kshatriya and no sinful reactions coming for Arjuna. That's a very nice point. So no sinful reaction because Arjuna is doing for Krishna and he's doing his prescribed duty. But then for terrorism, what are they doing? No, they're not trying to satisfy the Lord. Okay, so that's the second point. So let's get the third point from room number 3. Anita Mataji, Pooja Vrinda Mataji, Shreya Mataji, Sudha Mataji. Did you get any example? Did you get any extra points from 2.21 and 2.7?
Hare Krishna Mataji. We got it is performed on the supreme will of Krishna for the justice. It's the duty of Kshatriya, and these terrorists do it based on their self-centered greeds and aggression. And the analogy given is the surgeon performing the operation only for the intention to save the patient, not to harm.
Very nice. Yeah, so that's the analogy I was looking for. A surgeon trying to do a surgery on the patient just for saving the patient, right? It's not just to. So similarly, Krishna wants all the Kauravas to assemble at the right time in the Kurukshetra war, so that he can give them moksha, right? He can give them moksha. So for a surgeon, operating is not actually a punishment; it's to save the person, right? This is similarly, Krishna asked for this war to happen so that he can be saved. Save all the Kauravas. And what about the last room? Deval Mataji, Kumar Prabhu, Neeraja Mataji, and Dinesh Prabhu. Any extra point? Yes, any other extra point from the next room? Wait, yes.
Mataji, actually everything is covered, but what? Yes, Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. There are a couple of points which are important. Compassion and indecision is never there with the terrorists, where Arjuna, though being a Kshatriya, he had compassion and ultimately he surrendered. That is, from Sakhyam Bhav, he came to Dasyam state. And in fact, the terrorists are always suffering from the gross four defects of living entity, whereas here the people were very liberated and wise, and they knew what is wrong at what level, how they should be correcting it. And the activity of terrorists is un-Aryan, whereas what was happening in Battle of Kurukshetra, that was Aryan activity. They knew the purpose of life, they knew the objective of life, and they were on righteous path, Mataji.
Okay, Deval Mataji, anything else to add? Everything is
just that terrorism is under the mode of ignorance, whereas this was in the mode of goodness. For greater good.
So yes, so that's the difference. And when it is asked like this is like an open book question which I've taken from the question bank. So this is like open book. So in your own words, you can explain. You have to tell the analogy. If the analogy is asked, here is the surgeon operating. So you can say the analogy. Open book means you can open the book and refer to the slokas, but then don't write as it is. Like whatever you understood, you can write. Okay, so you try to do that. Okay, so yes. So I think we are done today for today's session for the slokas, because this chapter might need some 4 sessions. Because Namanishra Prabhu is like, no need to run. No, we are not in a hurry to finish. The purpose is to understand Srila Prabhupada's books and the purpose and then learn from it. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So any questions? Yes. Yes, Shreya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, you told that when we come to Krishna consciousness, all the material needs, all the material desires will get vanished and will get attracted to Krishna. But I feel like I'm not.
Mataji, one second. Did you all do the ISKCON disciple course? Does anyone wants to do a ISKCON disciple course, which is compulsory to take initiation and diksha from ISKCON? So the course is starting soon. Can I have some raised hands, those who have not done ISKCON disciple course? So I'll post the link of a WhatsApp group. It's a free course anyway. So it's like we're going to start soon. It'll be in 2 weeks. So you just join it. Okay. So all of you just join the group, because you're all chanting 16 rounds, and soon or later you'll definitely take diksha. So you can join this ISKCON disciple IDC. It's called IDC. The certificate is valid all over the world. So and Namanishra Prabhu has the right to issue the certificate. So it's just a 5 days course through online Zoom. Okay, and then just a 5 days course, and also you'll be having a small exam, just small ones, so that we give the certificate to you. So once you have the certificate, it is valid for how many years you want to wait for diksha, or immediately you can take and you can apply. So this is like anybody who likes to take initiation in ISKCON should know the Guru Parampara and what is Guru Tattva. You should also know Srila Prabhupada's position as a founder Acharya. Okay, yeah, mostly the class what I feel convenient for all is 6 p.m. IST, which is the Indian time, 6 p.m. because that's the time when many are free, because all the other days I have class at 7 to 9 I'm blocked, and after 9 it's difficult. So I'll just post the link of the WhatsApp group. So you just directly join it. Okay. If you want it in Hindi, there's another group for Hindi, but this is happening in English. No, ours won't clash. You don't have a 6 p.m. class, no? Do you have a 6 p.m. class anywhere else? That's why it took 6 p.m. because 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. we have classes, no? So it's called IDC. We have the batch 3 now. We already finished 2 batches. So I want all the Bhakti Shastri students to do the course. Just be in the WhatsApp group. In 2 days, 2 weeks, I'll post the. You got it? So yeah, this is a WhatsApp group. So just you can join there. That's a WhatsApp group for the IDC course. Okay. So for now, we have opening it not to the public. It's mainly for those who are doing a course in ISKCON Bangalore. So other timing, morning timings are all busy, Mataji. Like we have Mangalarati, then the Japa time, and then there is Bhagavatam class in the morning. So morning, and for working people, it's not easy. So that's why we kept it at 6. Let's see. I'll try to do a late night session. It might be later on, but now it's to 6. Okay, Shreya Mataji, continue your question.
Okay, Mataji. I was like, material desires are also not there, but attraction is also not there due to some work, karmi works and all. I'm in between, Mataji. How to get that attraction?
all of us are in between. Everyone are like keeping our legs in both the boats. So what happens when you keep legs in both the boats? One boat will go in the one direction, one will go to the other, and you'll fall down in the middle. So initial stage of Krishna consciousness, it's like that. No, we are not pure devotees. Not in one day we leave everything and go. No, wherever we are. No, but then as we chant, what you're supposed to do is you have to increase the quality of the japa. I think you are chanting 16 rounds. All of you are chanting 16 rounds. But then the quality is not good. So the most serious offense to the holy name is to be inattentive while chanting. So I feel if you're not advancing in Krishna consciousness, if you're not developing that love towards Krishna or detachment from material world, that's because the quality of japa is not good. No, your quality is. So what you're supposed to do is try to hear the nama. The different ways to increase your quality. I'll just give you some tips. You're chanting 16 rounds, well and good. That's fine. But then try to work on the quality. What you're supposed to do is sit in a nice place which doesn't have disturbance, and then might be sit in front of the altar or see the deity of Krishna or the picture of Krishna and try to fix your mind on the Harinam. Okay, it should be in the mind. Mind will go here and there when you do the japa. That definitely will go. If it doesn't go, that's a problem. It will go, right? But then when it go, try to bring it back. Again, try to bring it back. What am I doing? I have to do the japa. So hear the japa. No phones, no mobile phones at that time. That's a really bad distraction we have. No mobile phones. Better get up in the Brahma Muhurta and finish your rounds. I feel the inattentive rounds are because you're keeping your rounds towards the evening, late evening of the day. Then your mind is already full. You really can't concentrate on the japa. So have your dinner early, plan like that, and sleep early so that you can have 6 hours sleep and then get up in Brahma Muhurta somehow and then try to chant, because the whole house, like all are sleeping, and then you really can concentrate on the japa. So you need to hear the japa. Okay, the pronunciation should be good, and try to do quality japa, Mataji. Definitely it will help. So another method, what works for me is, like when I chant, so many thoughts comes or so many things comes, sit in one place, try to close your eyes. Unless you're sleepy, try to wash the face. But then if you're sleepy, don't close your eyes. But then sit in a place. Don't do radar japa. Radar japa means you just keep looking at outside and like, oh, the fan is not working or the light is not, and so many things comes to your mind. So when you close your eyes, you're concentrating. And then fool your mind, trick your mind. Don't try to hear the whole 16 rounds. Not possible. Don't try to hear the 108 rounds. Not possible. Try to hear one mantra at a time. So what I do is when my japa beats are here, and then my left hand is free. So I count how many japa or how many mantras I heard in one round. So when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, I heard one round. I mean one japa, then second, third. So up to 5 I'll be counting, and the 6th one my mind will go somewhere. Oh, what should I have for breakfast and all that. Again I come back. Oh, what am I doing? And then I come back again. I start counting how many japas I heard, how many mantras I heard. It really works. When you chant, you'll be like 10 mantras I heard. Oh, good. And then you keep improving. Finally, it reach a stage where you really can concentrate on your japa. So the quality of a japa will help you to get more taste in Krishna consciousness, Mataji. Now all of us are like you in the middle. That's why we are called Tadastha Shakti. Marginal energy. We can either go to the superior energy or the internal energy or the external. We are like here and there. So, okay. So you should have good association of devotees. You should have very nice sadhana and nice Krishna Prasad. Every day you should take Krishna Prasad. Your sadhana is going nice in one way, but if you're not taking Krishna Prasad, then the advancement is very troublesome. It's a little risky. I know, I can understand that at home, all are not devotees. You can't have both to the Lord. You can't offer prasad. In that case, at least offer fruit every day, dry fruits or something, and take that as Krishna Prasad. Somehow see that you take Krishna Prasad every day. Okay. Yes, Kishore Kumar Prabhu, the question.
Mataji, this from handbook, closed book questions or open book questions. Some questions I am not able to get the answer. Can I
didn't get the answer? Yeah, if you didn't get the answer, we can discuss, Prabhu. Might be we can have after every chapter the discussion on the closed book questions, so that it's easy for you to take a test after 6 chapters. So yes, so if you don't have answer for that, mark and keep. After every chapter, we can have a session on the questions, Prabhu. Okay, we can discuss.
Okay, okay.
Yes, Dinesh Prabhu.
Mataji, it is said that during Brahm Muhurt or early hours of the morning, the three modes of nature, material nature, they are in state of semblance, and it is on our efforts that one particular mode, say mode of goodness, can become predominant, and then we can get stabilized in the japa, that quality of japa that you're talking about.
Yes.
And also you mentioned about 10 P's of japa, that is also very eye-opening.
You remember? Do you remember? You can share to others.
Yeah, sure, Mati, but I can't post anything in this group.
No, you just say.
Yeah, that was first was presence, purpose, prayer, then purpose, prayer, presence, pronunciation. Then I don't remember. In
the
fact,
place,
in that order.
place we sit, and the posture where how we sit.
Posture, place,
then,
yes, all those words.
Preparation. What preparations you're supposed to do on the previous night.
Yes.
Is for the purpose of chanting. Why are you to be chanting for any material things?
And what should be the prayer for the
prayer, the prayerful mood of chanting, the pace, the speed of chanting.
Pace is there is.
Yeah, it was just helping. It was for myself, and I wanted to have some quality japa. Then I was thinking how it's possible. So I was just going through so many japa sessions, and then I could get some tips, which will really help us. And you sit along with devotees and chant. That's the best way. If you don't have any devotees around, at least keep Prabhupada's chanting on the background, and then he's a pure devotee chanting. So that will help.
I do it immediately after Mangala Arati, in fact, Mataji. So it's
very
all
good.
Peaceful, 16 hours, then 5 hours in the evening. So that makes 21.
Nice. Okay, however you're comfortable. You can split 4, 8 and 8, 10 and 6. It's up to you. But if you could do all the 16, at the stretch 2 hours, great.
Yeah, this morning.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I use one technique someone suggested. I get up at 3:30, and then I keep the picture of Sri Krishna, and then I start writing on his foot, Hare Krishna, on one toe each. And then come to the ankle, and then write on the tibia 3 writings, then come to the knee, write 5 writings on the thigh, and then go to the pelvis, and then trunk, and then the neck, and the arms. And that's how you keep complete concentration on the figure of Krishna all the time when you are writing. So that's how mind remains completely on one particular picture all the time.
Oh, that's so nice. I mean, that's not the beginning stage, might be like, because the beginning stage is Nama Rupa Guna Leela. It's like name, form, quality, and past tense. First is the name. So once you are good with the name, then the form appears. I mean, it is said that artificially you don't think about the form, but as you said, yes, to concentrate your mind on that particular form of the Lord, that really helps. Yes, Prabhu. That's a nice way to do. Yes, Shreya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, when I go to college with all the friends, I tend sometimes to forget Krishna, like they are always after enjoyment and all. I have to be with them, but then how to remember Krishna at that time?
So that's same question which was asked to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's very difficult. First of all, you're so fortunate. You're in college and you're already in Krishna consciousness. I mean, that's so fortunate you are. So now you're realizing that, see, what it is said is, Bahya Vyavahar Antar Nishta. In the sense, outside you be a Pakka Karmi. I mean, be with them and mingle with them. But then inside, you be a nice devotee. In the sense, it is said that if somebody, if a nice husband and wife is there, and the wife has a lover, so what does she do? The husband should not catch her. So what she does is, she thinks about the lover inside her mind, but then outside she becomes very sincere. No? She starts serving him nicely. So, but then inside so like that. The lover of us is Krishna, or we have this love of Godhead, and then outside there's so many non-devotees around us. So first of all, to college students, youth taking up Krishna consciousness is very, very rare. And if at all somebody takes to Krishna consciousness, definitely they are following from your previous janma. So outside, be like normal person, but then inside you don't take association, you give association to them, but then don't get influenced by the the peer pressure which you have. So for that, you should have association with devotees. That's very important, Mataji. Your devotees will protect you. The devotees are always there. When Maya tried to catch you in different form, the devotees are there to remind you to chant your rounds and do your japa and all that, read the Shastra. So always associate with devotees and always read Prabhupada's book. Yes, in college days, it's very difficult, but then your career is also important, but the Krishna consciousness also should go and see that nothing distracts you from Krishna consciousness. Okay, try to reduce your circle of friendship in such a way that only pious people remains with you. If somebody is talking against Krishna consciousness, better try to ignore them. That's what it is said when Madhyama Adhikari tries to ignore the atheist or somebody who's jealous of you. Just try to ignore them because they can't understand. If somebody is pious, try to bring them to Krishna consciousness. Some in the college students, but then otherwise, yeah, outside be like normal, but then inside you have all this nishtha. You do your rounds, you do your japa, but don't expose your spiritual life to others. If they really don't like it, or if if they can't appreciate it, then why you waste time talking to them? Yeah. Mental chanting will help, but sometimes when you're doing your rounds, you have to do it. Rest of the time, your 16 rounds, you're supposed to do loud chanting, but otherwise, yes, mental chanting can be done. That's not a offense, but it should not come in the 16 rounds. Oh, I have done in mental chanting, I have done all the 16 rounds. Then it is said, then you don't have to take prasad. Mentally, you take prasad. So it is said like that. Yes, Neeraja Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, in the last class, you told that our next birth will be decided on the bhava at the time of death. So what actually we have to think at that time? Can you just give me some examples, Mataji?
No, I really don't know. But then Krishna says, no, Antakale Shamami Vasmaran Muktva Kalevaram. So think of Krishna in any way. See, Bhagavatam is Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna, Krishna's devotees are Krishna. Some people think things of Prabhupada, some chant the holy name. That time is very difficult. It's like that's the most, that's a final exam for us. It's easy to speak and all that, but then at that time, what we remember. So that's why we are practicing chanting and everything, so that at that time we remember. At least chanting the holy name, that helps, or remembering Krishna's beautiful form, or pastimes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. That's I told the 4 things. Or Krishna's devotees can be remembered. So material things should not be there, Mataji. When we become more attached to material things, that's what we'll think at the end of our life. But then when we get more attached to Krishna, and Krishna says, if a devotee leaves his body during sleep or accident, I mean, in deep sleep, you are not really thinking of the Lord. You are in some subconscious mind. You're awake in the sense your mind is active, but then your whole body is resting and you're not able to think about the Lord. Krishna says, I will think about you. So if you become a nice devotee, definitely Krishna will think about us. So at the time of death, yes, either they chant the holy name. What devotees do is, when they are critical and when they know, when the doctors say that few hours or few days they might live, so mostly the devotees are surrounded by other devotees and they keep chanting the holy name. They keep Prabhupada's chanting or lecture. They give them prasad, and always see some of them, they go to the dham wherever possible. But for us, we don't know. Nobody's guarantee can give any guarantee about it. But yes, we always pray Ante Narayana Smriti, oh Krishna, at the end, let me please remember you. That's the prayer we should have. So somehow Krishna will do it, Mataji, if you have the desire.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, one more thing. And this Ekadashi, I missed this Ekadashi, Mataji. I was totally prepared in the morning. Everything, I was very much strict till afternoon. But finally, I was tempted to go to the wedding of my friend, childhood friend, Mataji. So, and now I'm feeling guilty that I broke the Ekadashi.
That's okay. Next Ekadashi you take. And don't worry, like Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi is coming. Not coming, it'll come once in a year. Okay, there are 24 Ekadashis in a year, and if you're not able to do at any one of the Ekadashis, or sometimes it's not possible, your health is not good, or something happens, you're not able to take Ekadashi, then there's something called Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi. That Ekadashi, if you take Nirjal, that is even without water, then it is said you get the benefit of all the 24 Ekadashi. So don't worry. It's okay.
Okay. Thank
But
you,
Prabhupada
Mataji.
missed Ekadashi. Some days Prabhupada will remember that disciples, they all had rice on Ekadashi. Prabhupada's like, today is Ekadashi. And all the disciples had rice. And they were like looking at Prabhupada. And what will Prabhupada do now? So because they should not feel bad, Prabhupada also had rice. And next day, they took Ekadashi. So Ekadashi is basically your consciousness should be on Krishna. You should do more chanting and all that. So it's coming, Mataji. Anyway, don't worry.
But one thing, Mataji, I felt happy in the evening. I had been to ISKCON, and there we did the service, Mataji. We were given the service of distributing prasadam, the sabudana kheer, to so many devotees, Mataji. That one thing I felt very happy, Mataji.
Yeah, on Ekadashi, if you do Vaishnav Seva, that's a great thing you can ever do. Yes, Prabhu, last question for the day.
Mataji, Lord Krishna has said that if a person dies in critical conditions or on ventilator or something like in those state when he's not able to remember me, but he assures that I remember your good actions and I reward you accordingly.
Yes. So I'll stop with a small pastime which says that when Mataji, she contributed for a temple. She donated to a temple and she don't even know the temple. I mean, she donated to the temple and she could never visit that temple. She donated to build that temple, but then she could not go to the temple, but she was abroad or something. And it was the last days of her life. And the last moment, she asked some devotee, I want to see some picture of Krishna. Please bring some picture of Krishna. And the devotee started searching. I think it was in a hospital or something. They were searching. They could not get a picture of Krishna. Finally, he got a Krishna's picture and she saw the picture and just looking at the deities, she left. So, and later on, her children said that that was the deity for whom she donated for the temple. So just imagine how she could not go to the temple and she never visited that temple, but the Lord the Lord was so merciful that because she did some service and she's a nice devotee, the Lord came in a form of a picture, and the same Lord for whom she donated for building a temple. And see, somehow, so many stories that Mataji was in ICU and she was almost paralyzed. But then when the devotees gave some java beads to her, her hand was just catching the beads and she started chanting. So many things. There was a patient who was having Alzheimer's disease. You know, Alzheimer's, there's memory loss, right? You know what? Krishna blessed her in such a way that she forgets she remembers everything, but she forgets that she have chanted her rounds. She'll finish her 16 rounds in the early morning, and after that she'll tell, I didn't do my rounds, and she'll start doing again 16. Then afternoon she'll say, I didn't do my rounds. Again she'll do 16. So that Alzheimer's disease was also a blessing to her. So all these funny stories, when we hear real life stories, like Krishna do some magic, in your life. You really don't know. Yes, Hare Krishna, Sridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. One day, this Shastri exam and
I can't hear you.
When is this Bhakti Shastri exam, Mataji? One devotee wanted to know.
Okay, so after 2 chapters, you'll have an open book exam. Open book means one question will be given, which is like you need to write an answer for 2 pages. So you have this handbook, all of you have this Bhakti Shastri handbook, right? In the handbook, there are so many questions, open book and closed book. The questions will come from that only, okay, the handbook only. And then from the handbook, and then just try to prepare it. So after 2 chapters, you'll have one open book assignment. Open book means you'll have the Bhagavad Gita in front of you, go through the purport, then try to understand and write in your own language. You can see and write. So after 2 chapters, one open book assignment. So that means after 2nd chapter, one open book assignment. After 4th chapter, again, one assignment. After 6 chapters, that is module 1, you'll have closed book exam that like 10 questions will be there and you have to write 8, which is just short questions, short answers. Okay. So after every module, we'll have a closed book exam. And after every 2 chapters, we'll have an open book exam. So it'll be online. Yes, Sarbani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, the previous chapters I have missed, like the first and the second half. So, like, will you please help me to complete it?
Yes, either you see the recordings, but I really want to do the chapter 1 for many. For many have missed chapter 1. So there are 2-3 batches who missed. So that's what I'm planning for a day where you all can attend that session. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Thanks a lot.
Maybe I'll do it next week. I'll put it in the group. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I think we can end
Hare
here.
Krishna.
And before I forget, there is December 3rd is Gita Marathon, Gita Jayanti, where the day when Bhagavad Gita actually came to be, so 5,000 years ago. So now please, it's time to donate Bhagavad Gita. There is something called T.LY Marathon. We are doing a marathon book distribution. So if you all have Bhagavad Gita, but then please distribute or gift it to someone on that particular day. Okay. Oh, Dinesh Prabhu ordered 5 books. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Because that's the best way to please Srila Prabhupada, by distributing his books. You don't know, some souls might take it, and because of you, they will go to Krishna. Anchakalpadrubhascha kripasindhubhya patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Kodi Vaishnavati ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.